So that's going in. Alright. Alright, the prep phase. So what we're going to want here is a hobby knife and some files. If you don't have files, the hobby knife's fine. If you don't have a hobby knife, the files are fine. Kind of. You're going to want to invest in those, though, as they will help a lot. The files are to get to places where the knife can't reach all the time. Also just kind of smooth stuff out. Alright, so the miniature we're going to be using today is the Unicorn model from WizKids. Now, the WizKids line is pre-paints, which means they already have primer on them, which is really good. But unfortunately, not all the mold lines are gone. Models always are going to have mold lines. You're going to always have to do this for any model you get. So, we're gonna check over the model here. Alright, so just look around the model here. See about any mold lines. See, you can see some right here. Just gonna grab the knife here, and we are going to just gently scrape at the lines. You are going to get some of the paint off, unfortunately, but that is fine. If you don't get the mold lines off, then the paint job looks really weird. You're gonna miss some when you first start, just like I've been doing this for a while, and I still miss some mold lines, but you still want to get most of them off. Now I'm just gonna scrape here, just scrape around, just gently scrape. Some places, see, this is a bigger spot here, good for the knife. Some places you'll have to do a file, can't remember the name there, but for right now the knife is going to do good. This is just a standard hobby knife that you can get at any hobby store that I know of. This one I got, I think, from Michael's. Not too terribly sure. I've gone through so many, I've gone through different hobby places, can't remember them all. Now, it's a very beautiful model, and I'm quite impressed here. Not too terribly bad for the mold lines, but like I said, always make sure. Got some here. If you take the little chunks out, that's fine. Not everything is going to be perfect. You can just make it look like, if it's on like armor or something like that, just make it look like armor damage. Alright, and alright, file here. I prefer my flat one with a rounded edge, rounded tip to get in. You're going to see that it has some green stuff in it, which is literally green stuff. It's a neat-eyed epoxy that you'll see later on. I love using this file here. It's my favorite by far. Unfortunately, that's caused it by by being full of debris now. Gonna have to clean this out here, but that's fine. See, just down the hair here, you're gonna see some. So you're going to want to just gently file it down. Be careful, because you might file some of the hair. If you do, that's fine. You could fix it later. But until you're comfortable with modeling and stuff like that, just be very careful. Alright, so just look around here, make sure we got everything. Alright, so now this model is going to be turned into a nightmare from Dungeons and Dragons. The nightmares are horses with, instead of hair, they have fire coming out where the hair should be. So this model is, I found it, and it's really good here. A lot of hair where the fire could be and everything. But unfortunately, nightmares don't have horns, so we're going to have to take care of that after. First off, just let's get all the mold lines here. Alright, see? All nice and pretty here. Pretty sure I missed a few mold lines, but that's fine. Alright, so how are we going to get rid of this horn? Some pliers here. These are just normal wire clippers. For any of the people that play Warhammer 40,000 or anything like that, you're going to have them for clipping off sprues. So we're just going to want to carefully clip it here and just come on. Oh, there we go. And now you can keep it for something else, or you can just discard it. Just going to take the knife here and cut away the last little bit that I couldn't get with a file, with a wire cutter, sorry. Alright, and looks okay. Just gotta do a little bit more here. This is a very beautiful sculpt, I might add. Quite pleased with this. If my group's gonna be running more horses, I might pick up a few of these to throw against them and let them claim, or make them work for it. Alright, see? Now everything is done here. So, up next, found a few spots here. You're going to see this. Best lights to do for this is LED lights, as they replicate natural light more. But, nice, beautiful sculpt. Nice that it's on a base already, kind of. But it's also supplied with a round base, which we'll see later. Just going to file some down. The horn a little bit more. A piece of it looked like hair, but ended up not being hair, but actually being the horn. A few places missed around in the initial pass for the mold lines, but that is alright. So now this is a nightmare, and so it's being ridden by a monster. So what it's going to need is a saddle, and how we're going to do that is neatite or green stuff. It's a two-part epoxy that one part is yellow, one part is blue, and then you mix it together and make green stuff. Now you can get this in most hobby places. What you're going to want to do is some kind of tool here, cut in the middle, as the middle is very hard because it is bound together. So you just want to cut the middle off, because that stuff is just not going to work at all. So get as close to the hard piece as you can so you minimize waste. Best way to work with this stuff is just having some clean water around so you can dip your fingers and your tools in, and also the green stuff if need be. So just get your fingers wet here, take the two pieces and rub them together. Alright, so just keep rubbing together till it is nice and green. Alright. I have an old case here with some foam in it. It's a wet palette, but I use it to store the green stuff when I'm not using it, so it kind of stays a little moist. Alright, so there's a few pieces here that aren't always mixed, so just gonna mix it up together perfectly. It'll be a nice green. Just gonna set this out to the side so it's out of my way here. Come on. Come on. Alrighty, so just gonna take a little piece here and we're gonna roll it up. What we're gonna be doing is making a saddle. Now, I don't have a picture pulled up right now, but I do know what saddles look like. So first up, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna roll this here, and we are going to make the piece that latches on to the horse. No, the piece that goes around. So you're just gonna want to roll it out until it's nice and smooth and as thin as you need it to be. Remember, it is a two-part epoxy, so if you think you're going to need a lot, just kind of half what you think you're going to need, because of the two pieces. One problem I normally have is mixing way too much, which is good to have a couple projects going at once that needs this. So if you accidentally mix too much, you can just slap it on one of your other projects. Alright, so we're just going to pull this around. If your fingers start sticking, remember just to dip them in water a little bit, but don't have too much water, as it's just going to make the entire model slippery, and that's not good. Alright, dip your tool in every so often. I use an old, I think, dentist tool, I think it is, that has a rounded end on one side and then a knife type on the other. So what we're just going to do is just smoothen this out here. See, there's a little bit too much water on this piece here, so it's just sliding everywhere. That's fine. So we're just going to smooth it down here. It is going to catch your fingerprints, so what you're going to want to do is just go in circular motions to get your fingerprints out. Alright, so what we're going to do is two pieces here. First off, the piece that stays on the horse, that connects the saddle to that, and then after that, we're going to make the saddle itself, as that is a bigger sculpt. So right now, we're just going to work it. We don't want it too thick. We're going to want it a little thinner, because you don't see too many saddles with thick pieces on them. Right. So to smooth out the sides and everything, push it in. And if you put too much on here, it's easy enough. Just cut off a little bit and put it back on the big piece. Or if you don't have enough, then just get a little bit more and add it. I've been working with this stuff for a couple of years, so I'm at least a little comfortable with it. By no means can I sculpt stuff, but I'm still... Oh, alright, see? This is why you want to be careful here. A little bit too much, so we're just going to start this all over again. See? Way too much. Remember, about half of what you think you're actually going to need. So let's try this again here. Nice and another little piece here. We're going to roll it. So now we'll roll it nice and thin. Make it look like a little snake. Remember, if it starts sticking, just dampen your fingers a little bit. If you go to sculpt something on your tray, make sure that the tray has some water on it, but right now there's enough that I don't need to here. So I got it nice and thin, about as much as I need to. Alright, so let's try this again, but since this is too long, let's just cut it a little bit. So all this extra stuff is going on that wet palette I had earlier, just to keep it a little damp so that it doesn't dry out. This stuff is amazing to work with if you have models that, if you have any figurines and stuff like that, like collectibles or anything that get damaged, put some of this on and it works well. This is a tool that pretty much any gamer should have, especially if you want to do small things like this. Small conversions and everything like that. Alright, so we're just going to re-get everything down here. Make everything look nice. I won't be making it look like there's a buckle on it, as I'm good, but I'm not that good at sculpting. And also I only have this one tool here. You can find probably more tools like this at Michael's or any of your friendly local gaming stores. Always check, or check online. I'm not too sure if WizKids has these or not. I haven't seen anything from them. Just want to get it all the way around. Don't want to just do the sides, as if someone looks at it, they're going to see the undercarriage in the belly there that's not connected. So we're going to want to smoothen this out here. Sorry for the white blowout here, but light miniature with light plus light skin makes the color blow out a little bit. Alright. So we got it mostly here. It doesn't have to be completely straight here, as is a fantasy realm. They don't have perfect cutting, like perfect edges and stuff like that. So having it a little wobbly is fine. Remember, as long as you think it looks good, then it's good. The hardest person to impress is yourself. Alright, see. Trying to fix this here. Come on. Nope. There we go. There we go. You should see a little bit now. Nice little sculpt here. So that is the end of the attachment on. To keep it on. So next up, after we smooth out a little bit more here, remember, like I said, the fingerprints, so you're going to want to just get rid of those. If you forget to do this when you're sculpting, you're going to have to wait for it to dry and then just take a file and just file it down, similar to mold lines. That's why my file there had a whole bunch of green stuff, is because I forgot a couple times to get rid of my fingerprints, and those show up a lot when you go to paint. Alright, so once everything is done, blow out your camera again, just because camera hates focusing on the light object. Alright, so that's all done. I'm happy with it. Not bad for the first time in a couple months of sculpting something. Alright. Next up, we're going to be making the saddle. So just take a little piece here, roll it into nearly a ball shape type. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on the back here, and if we get enough here, Remember, it is a saddle. It is going to, depending what kind of saddle you want to make it, ornate or not ornate. Depends on how much detail and how much screen stuff you're going to do. I'm just going to do a rather basic saddle, as this will be more of like the rider just try to strap on a saddle to ride this. So it's not going to be super fancy like a noble would wear. Ride. Alright, so start off. Get on the back here. Get nice and down. Wet your tool here. And what we're just going to do is just start pushing down the middle here. Alright, so there's a miniature there. So we're just going to start pushing down the middle. Get the middle down for the seat. You want to keep the back and front edges raised up a little bit, like for on a saddle. Alright, so we're just going to work on here, slowly pushing out. You don't want to do too much too fast, because it will slide and it will ruin it. And I did not let the strap cure, so right now that is still wet, so that will be damaged too if I move too fast with the saddle. So we're going to want to take our time. Green stuff normally cures, fully cures in about 24 hours or so, roughly. So if you want to sculpt something and then kind of leave it, go to work or go to sleep or something like that and come back to it, it's normally mostly cured by the time you come back to it. Yes, I know that's not 24 hours, but still. So we're just going to smooth this out here on the sides here. See, I made a little bit too much. I'm going to have to fix this later. But I want to keep the top and back raised a little bit. Make it look like the seat for the saddle. Just smooth out all the pock marks here. Remember to keep your tool a little wet. If you notice it starts sticking, can't stress this enough, make sure it's wet a little bit more. It's just going to stick if it's not wet, and you're just going to wreck your project. I've ruined a lot of layers of stuff doing that. Alright. And if it keeps sliding, then just start doing it in circles. Like right now, it's working fine, but like I said before, just do circles to get rid of anything. Circles work wonders. So we're just going to keep working here. It's a little bit too much. I'm just going to get rid of that. Come on. Nope. Alright, so there goes part of the strap. Gonna have to fix that later. But for now, that's an easy fix. So we'll continue on the saddle. I really used too much. Alrighty here. So I'm just going to fix this up here. Nice little saddle. Once again, you can make this more ornate, but right now I'm just doing a basic saddle, kind of like this. The rider slapped a saddle on the Nightmare so he could ride it. He didn't want like a super fancy one or anything, just something where he didn't have to ride bareback. So that's what we're going for here. Alright, so just keep it up, round it out. Of course, I'm doing this all from memory of what a saddle looks like. I could have done it the easy way and pulled up a picture of a saddle, but this works perfectly fine, I think. Sometimes you're going to pull up a picture and you're just like, oh, I want to do this, and then you don't do it, and then you're all sad because you can't sculpt it. But hey, everyone has to learn. It's alright. So we're just going to smooth it out a little bit here. Doesn't have to be completely smooth. Once again, this is a fantasy setting, so it's not like they're going to have precision making here. And also does, if it's not completely smooth, it does show a little bit of kind of wear, as if the rider has worn them for a while. Back and front raised still. How do you get that? Just in the edges a little bit. Use the edge of your tool and just push down a little bit to raise them still. Alright, so we're just going to work here. Just going to get those edges nice and defined, because I know they can kind of blend too much. So we're just going to get them a little bit more defined. A little bit more of sitting area and the edges. Alright. Gotta make sure it stays out of the hair a little bit. Don't want to get in the hair. Alright. Combine it nicely here. kind of turn it into one. Fix this area up here, and we're all good. Alright, so now we're just going to fix that little hole here. So we're just going to get a little bit. Didn't turn out too bad, eh? Looks pretty good. So let's see if we can just pull a little bit of the green stuff down. If not, we're going to have to use a little bit more. Nope, we're just going to need a little ball. Just a little bit. Remember, it's not going to take as much as you think it is to do this. That's one thing I've learned over the long time I've used this. You can always add layers. Alright, so we're just going to now smooth this and make it look like part of it so no one knows that we messed up. Alright. Beauty of this stuff is it's really easy to hide your mistakes. This is also good if you accidentally, when you're taking mold lines out, if you accidentally gouge your miniature and it's a place where there shouldn't be a gouge. Mix up a little bit of this, put it on, smooth it out. Nobody will know once it's painted. It dries hard, so people just think it's part of the miniature. If you do it right. Alright. So I think this is pretty good. Nice defined lines and everything. Once again, you can add a lot more detail if you want, but right now I'm just doing a basic saddle where the rider could just sit on the horse. Alright. Always look around and use different light sources, as you'll find some mistake in different light sources. Just gonna smooth it out, and I think I'm gonna let it cure. That looks pretty good. Pretty good to me. Doesn't take too long if you know what you're thinking of. So next up, we're going to make a bedroll. Most adventurers are gonna have that. So all we're gonna do is just roll it up a little bit, flatten the ends a little bit. All right, just flatten the ends a little bit, make it look like something rolled up. There's going to be a crease in it, but that's okay, because hey, if you ever look at a bedroll rolled up, there's creases in it. Right? Alrighty, so just work with it. Remember, water on your fingers, water on your tools, and you're golden. Alright. So, I'm going to grab this, put it on the back. So something that only takes a couple seconds adds a lot more detail. See? Now it looks like this rider, well, he has just a basic saddle, he still at least has somewhere he can sleep. So, I'm going to fix that. This is the horse here. As soon as my phone focuses, that'd be swell. After it's dried, if something happened here with a bedroll, it actually did fall off. The green stuff didn't stick fully to the horse. So if that happens, just take a little bit of super glue and just put a drop on and dab it on. That's what I did, and it works perfectly fine. So that's done. Next up, what we're going to do is we are going to need to do the base. The base. Alrighty, the base. So what I use here, what I use is Zappa Gap. I got this at a, I think, train store, hobby train store. And get that, put a couple drops on, and then onto it, and as soon as it sets, it's on there good. After that, you're done. Just let everything go, and then it's on to painting. But that will be the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and please watch the next video. I will be showing you how I painted this miraculous creature. Either, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, please leave a like so I know to make more like it. If you guys like my videos, feel free to subscribe. If you have any game suggestions, leave a comment down below. And thanks, and see you next video.